Hey, so I'm going to show you a tutorial on how I do my flat stitch beadwork. So if you're ready to start doing beadwork, you will need either a crystal center, like this one. I already had it glued and dried for a few days already on the backing that I use. You're going to need Pellin and some beads. You could get some Hanks, whatever color bead and palette you're going to be using. You're going to be needing some thread, and I'm going to be doing the 2 needle stitch, so you'll need 2 beading needles. Get your stuff, we're going to get ready. So here I already have the crystal cut out to the size that I'm going to need. I have the Pellin on already. I sewed down the crystal using these sew down holes here. I always sew down my crystals. I have my beading thread. This is the feeding one, so this one's doubled. And then I have my tacking needle and thread, and I usually keep this one single. I don't tie this one up in the end, and so as I'm going, I keep feeding and feeding until I'm done with the thread. So 2 needles, the beading feeding one, and the tacking needle. So I like to start this one off a little bit on this side. It's going to be a solid color all the way around, so I don't need to start at a certain area. Depending on your design, you might want to start at a certain space, but since this first row of beads is going to be all one color, it doesn't matter where you start. I like starting a little bit off. So I will grab some beads, at least a needle's length of beads, and I'll show you what that means to me. Okay, this is about a needle's length of beads. Of course, it's not the whole needle because I have to hold it. So then I push it all the way down. And I kind of use these fingers to hold it tight. And I use these to kind of feed. So if it's like really close, I'll just kind of tuck them all in. Keep this tight. This is kind of how I hold it usually. But all these beads are tight, and if I need to have more, I feed more. So I'm going to get comfortable just like how I'm normally beading. Get my tacking needle ready and have this all tucked in. These 2 give it tension, and then I start. I usually like to tack the first one, come from the back to the front. I pull. I'll secure the first one. You see there, I kind of went a little too far out. See that spacing between the needle and the thread? That's a little too far. I'll show you where I like it. Just right on the other side of the thread. And then again, I keep pushing. And then now I start tacking 2. So come back from the front up. See, spaced right between the 2. Come up. Tack those 2 down. And I'll do this the whole way. I'll do every 2. See like how it tacks it. See? And the reason why I like to only do 1 is so you don't have too big of a gap and you can't tell where you're tacking it from the outside. reached this point. On the points, I do like to bead every bead because it's a little bit odd shaped. Did I already type on? Okay. Just want to make sure that the beads kind of keep their spacing. Just about right. If I can find a really skinny bead, I might be able to fit that in. Oh, I found one, but this is a skinny bead. It might just be perfect. Yep. Perfect. Get this needle and we are going to insert it in the beginning, and I only need to go in at least about 2 to 3. Came out at 3, that's fine. In, pull down. All these beads should line up. Pull real slowly, don't get your thread tangled. See? They all lined up nice and neat. Now you have this kind of hanging out. I leave it out a little bit just so I can continue to give it tension here so it doesn't stay loose. And I finish tacking these down. And these last ones might be a little tighter to tack because they're right at the perfect spacing. But this is why I like to only do a 1 thread when tacking. That way it's not too chunky. Okay, I think we just need a few more. All right, that's done. You can check we tacked all the way around. Now I'm going to hide this thread because then you start line number 2. So I'm going to get this needle where this came out and I'm going to poke straight through to the back and pull out. That's your first line. Now let's start line number 2. This one I will be starting at the top here. This is the last pair of 12 that I've done of the exact same size, exact same pattern, just different colors. So I know I need to start at this second bead here. So I'm going to poke it through and I'm going to want it half of the size of the bead out. So I'm going to want the hole right there, not too close to the bead because then they'll be really crowded, and not too far away because then you're going to see a gap. So I'm going to start the next line with delicates. They're a little bit smaller, but they're the pass-through hole is bigger, so it does give you a little bit of leeway on spacing. But my target is right here, right in this area. So let's do that. And sometimes, you know, it takes a little bit of time. You don't get it right the first time. Okay, see how the needle isn't too far, isn't butting up against the bead. It has space. That's what you want. I'm going to pull through, and now I'm going to pick up the pattern for this one. So again, I picked them all up. This is a pattern. And here I do like to use this line on the crystal that goes horizontal as the center for this design. So I always want the center beads in the design to hit right where this center line is. And when it does that, I know my spacing is good. I'll get it right there. And now I start tacking again. Let's start from the top over here. Tack the first one down. And you see how where the line starts, it gives you this space for the bead on this side to go. And that way they're not too crowded. Now we're going to tack all two. Well, we're going to tack every two. That is the goal. That is the goal. Okay. So now here's the other checkpoint. The center of it. It's right here. So here you can see I picked up way too many of these iris blue beads. I'm only gonna need 3. Because this is the center. 4 will be too much. I also look at this indentation and this one and where the beads are. Yeah, 3 is going to be it. So now I'm going to replicate this side with the same design. Stick this back through these first 2 or 3. Let's see where the needle wants. So 4, 5. Okay, pull through. Kind of arrange these how I want them. Okay. Now we're going to again feed this back through. We need one more line of beads for the 3rd line. Now we can start line 3. I'm going to need more thread. I'm going to go ahead. What I do to secure it is, if I have just this much, I like to go in between the rows like that, just a couple of times. It'll be hidden, nobody will see this, and this is just me kind of sewing back and forth through it just to secure the thread before I cut and burn. So I'll do that just about 2 times. Pull real tight, needle comes off, give this a little trim. Throw that away. And then I'll burn this little tail. Push it down. That way it flattens. And now we're ready to get some more thread. The third row is going to be simple, just like the first one. It's going to be the same color beads that go around. It's going to finish out this edge of beads around this. I might need more thread here too, but we'll figure it out. Okay, since again I'm going to do a solid color, I'm going to just try to come up here to conserve my thread. I don't want to have to like pull it all the way around, so just want it right up. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, there, row 3 is right there. Okay, let's pick up beads. Okay, got about that much. Just push them all the way down. And then I'll just start it right where I need to tuck down that first bead. I don't do anything else special. There you go. And then we're starting off like that. And then now start going back to tacking 2. I think I'm barely going to make it. What I'm gonna do, I don't have room to like go through, out, and then down because the needle's pretty long. I'm gonna try to go in and then just down. Yeah, like that. That worked. Okay. Now let's finish off. There we go. Check out my next video when I post how to add the banding. See you guys later.